This is the road to Sinjar, where ISIL swept into northern Iraq last year. They left a trail of death in the wake, massacring thousands of the Jesidi minority, stranding tens of thousands more in the mountains to die. Eventually, Kurdish Peshmerga forces, aided by US airstrikes, were credited with breaking the siege and saving the Jesidi. But recently I spent a week with another group of fighters who deserve just as much credit for halting and preventing the further slaughter. They are the fighters from the PKK, the Kurdish Workers' Party, considered a terrorist organization by the United States and most European countries. They may be Sinjar's best hope for defeating ISIL. Jacko is the commander of the PKK forces in Sinjar.
ISIL is on the defensive. We have built up a front line inside the city. We're standing by. Any move from them and we will act.
While the siege of Mount Sinjar was broken last year, the city of Sinjar remains largely under ISIL control. Snipers are the PKK weapon of choice. Jacko spends hours motionless, peering through a scope, until an ISIL head appears. The radio crackles to life. The enemy is calling for a doctor. The stakes here are high. If the PKK lose control, the Jesidi again face slaughter, and ISIL can add control over a large portion of Kurdish Iraq to its recent victory in Ramadi. Yet Jacko and his fighters receive little outside help in their fight.
We are currently more or less alone on the front lines. There are no Peshmerga with us. The coalition forces do not take our advice. They should listen first to the fighters on the front line. But we understand that this is a result of state politics.
Until a ceasefire in 2013, the PKK was in open conflict with Turkey, trying to win independence for the Kurds. It can't buy weapons from the West and relies on old weapons that often fail to fire.
The weapons that we have now are good enough for guerrilla-style fighting. But in order to liberate Sinjar, we need better weapons.
But one of the biggest disadvantages they face is their inability to coordinate directly with the US-led coalition air power flying overhead. Jacko forwards the locations of ISIL units to the Peshmerga, who pass them on to US pilots. Accuracy suffers, sometimes with near-deadly consequences. Yet, in spite of the obstacles, Jacko finds it easy to motivate his men and women. They come from Turkey, Iraq, Iran, and Syria. None are older than 25. All are united against what they consider an existential threat.
Why is it important to fight ISIL? Because ISIL has a twisted ideology. It is not Islam. It destroys all of humanity, not just the Kurds or the Shiites. It's a threat against Christianity, Judaism, the Yazidis. It is a virus of the 21st century, and it has to be removed.
The woman sniper of the group is considered a particularly effective weapon. Many ISIL fighters fear being killed by a woman. Some believe it will keep them from going to heaven. So the PKK taunts them whenever a female scores a kill. This sniper, in her early 20s, is unimpressed by her enemy.
They attack with heavy weaponry. Without that, they are scared to attack. They are not strong fighters.
The group's reputation on the front lines against ISIL has started to shift attitudes slowly in favor of the PKK.
Not everyone in Europe accuses us of terrorism. It's mostly the media and governments. If they looked at the facts, they would realize that we aren't terrorists.
Jacko keeps pictures of his fallen comrades. 57 have died here in Sinjar.
Not everyone gets to die with dignity. I'm glad that our friends are able to. It's an honor.
Jacko hopes the US and others will come to accept them as a true ally against ISIL before it's too late.